Joe presents Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Okay. All right, this is the first time I've ever looked at the camera, so it's making me uncomfortable. Jenny, do you feel uncomfortable?
I'm not looking at the camera. Yes.
Yeah, don't. It's taken me 16 episodes to get to the point where I can look at the camera, and now I feel very out of my comfort zone. Baz makes it look so easy. Anyway, Baz isn't here, viewers, so welcome to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby on Joe together with Guinness. That went all right, didn't it?
Nailed it.
Yeah, that went all right.
Yeah, it was good.
We need a massive performance this week because we're rudderless. We've no host really.
Yeah.
So I would just imagine it's just us just waiting to be asked questions to.
I don't know. I'm relying heavily on this. I'm hoping I can just read off the sheet.
Yeah, I think we need a massive
Like Baz
one.
just sits here and he's like, "So weekend."
Yeah, he's like, whatever. I'm in a band. I've got a nose piercing.
Yeah.
Do your worst. No, we need to dig deep.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
we need to be like
no pressure.
We need to be like Robert Redford, Meryl Streep in Out of Africa. We need massive performances. Yeah. We need to be
Oscar, yeah.
We need to be like Pete O'Mahony and Ian Henderson at the Aviva 2017, denying England the Grand Slam and making their way into the land.
Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, Silence of the Lambs.
Nice. Yeah, that's big. Yeah, that's big.
And you like stare down the camera and kind of nail that.
Yeah. Rocky against Ivan Drago.
Frantically trying to think of other
Yeah.
duos and can't.
Yeah, no, sorry, that wasn't a duo. That was we both need to be independently as good as Rocky.
Yeah.
And then I also thought, I wonder if we could have a training montage in the build up to this episode. I need you to join in there.
Okay, no,
Jenny.
I will.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was trying to, and at the same time, we turn and face the camera.
Yeah, okay.
So, like,
yeah, nice.
I feel like if we do it again, it'd just be weird.
Definitely don't do it again. Anyway, so did you watch much rugby the weekend?
Not loads.
No,
not
me
enough.
neither.
Not enough.
Yeah.
For someone that's meant to do a podcast all about rugby
Yeah,
today or this weekend, no. I watched a good bit of the Super Rugby.
yeah,
Just the way the Pro 14 games fell, it was really awkward.
yeah.
So no. Did you?
I did. I watched mostly highlights really, and I saw the Ulster game. Ulster got a fairly crucial away win in Ospreys. It wasn't a great game, to be honest. It was a bit drab and there was a lot of drop balls, and there wasn't a lot of excitement in it. But anyway, they got the win.
Win's a win. And Henderson's back.
Hendy's back, yeah. A few guys did well. I thought Ulster actually played quite well, with not a lot of reward for it, really. A few young fellas doing well. Eric O'Sullivan did well. Mike Laurie was going well. The wee 10 for a while, and then he got sparked out. And that's the second time he's been knocked out in 6 weeks or something.
Like out.
It looked floppy, yeah.
Okay.
It looked like he was kind of on his way to the deck, and he was already kind of a little bit
that
limp.
like.
Yeah. He anyway, we're big fans of his.
Okay.
Here on Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby.
I've heard, yeah.
Jenny and Andrew's House of Rugby.
No, don't say that. That's too much pressure again. I'm like a side bit that's just here because he's gone off to look at Niagara Falls.
I know.
So.
Yeah, you see his Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Anyway, listen. Let's stop talking about Baz.
Yeah.
I'm fed up with that guy putting us under pressure.
We can do this.
We can thrive without Baz.
Well, it's a concussion as well. Kind of going on to that. Halfpenny. Seems to be out for the England-Wales game and probably for a bit longer as well.
Yeah.
Don't think he's got many minutes, or he didn't actually play. He was pulled off he was on the injury list for club team, and yeah, again, that's a few kind of concussion kind of things in a while, or return to play is delayed, and then you're like, oh, he's nearly back and delayed again.
Yeah.
That'll be I think that's a loss for him for Wales, and then they're missing. There's another bigger is out as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're speaking about Wales, and we should be going right back to Ireland.
Yeah, well, other injuries for this weekend. Obviously, Chris Farrell picked up a knock as well on his knee.
He's so unlucky.
I know, yeah. Well, we don't know what way it's going to be. Yeah,
but fair play. Like, he's kind of like player that, you know, the way it's always hard to, if you've got any kind of layoff, whether it's like a 4-week injury or a longer. He seems like you can kind of chuck him in the deep end, and he's like he always rises to the occasion. Like
Yeah.
it's fair play. I don't think a lot of players, they take a while to kind of build back into a performance, and he seems to be able to jump in and do a job really well. Case in point, like Wales last year, and again this year.
Yeah,
against
even
Scotland.
whatever game Munster played Edinburgh, I think that was his comeback game, and he was brilliant straight away. But yeah, so that would be a big loss. I don't know what way Henshaw is actually.
Is Ringrose out as well?
Ringrose is gone. Henshaw's gone. Bundy Aki always stays fit, doesn't he?
Yeah, like it is really impressive.
Yeah.
And he's like he's in the mix all the time. Like such an abrasive player that sometimes you'd assume like he's bound, and he probably is full of niggles and stuff. But he's just he's always available. And again, like you mentioned, like we've done it before, centres, and the first names that pop up are Henshaw and Ringrose. But like it's Aki all the time, and he never drops a certain standard. He's always hitting those marks. So I think you can totally build a backline around what he's capable of doing as well. You just kind of don't give him enough credit sometimes.
No, absolutely. So the other one's Will Addison. Didn't play for Ulster the weekend. Ulster put out McCluskey and Kiev, actually, who both went really well. But yeah, so Will Addison, if he's not playing there, you'd imagine he'll be looking at starting against Italy probably.
13?
So probably.
Yeah.
I doubt they'd be changing 15 again. Like
No, I don't
three
think
different
so.
15s in three games. I wouldn't have thought it'd be changed again.
No, it's not ideal.
I'm not sure. I doubt Bundy Key and Will Addison have played together. I'm not sure. They maybe did in the autumn.
Pat,
but
have they? Will Addison? Will Addison?
Yeah.
And Bundy Aki?
Yeah, together, yeah. And then Tom Farrell, I suppose, who had a decent game as well. But they seem to be it. Henshaw, maybe, but yeah, Ringrose definitely out. But yeah, the fact that Addison didn't play at all at the weekend would make you think that he's going to get pulled in. So,
sorry, I just turned to Guru, Pat. That was like kind of threw you a curveball. Sorry there.
I think I got a look there as if, why didn't you give me a heads up?
Keep on your toes. Keep on your shirt. Yeah.
on my phone there, I was like, what do you want to know?
Passing notes to the back of class. Bring that note up here.
We're not entertaining enough. Got it.
Then obviously Joey might get a start at 10, and then I'm not sure would Cooney get a go as well maybe. I don't know if he'll make whole scene changes. I don't know if the way Wales did, but
and it'd be interesting to see. Maybe not for the Italy game, but will Marmion be back in the mix as well for the latter stages of the Six Nations too?
Yeah.
Like again, like we've hit on this already. There's still so many players that aren't in camp that you'd be like you could put them in there and they would do a really good job.
Yeah.
So no, I'd like to see Cooney get a game. Do you know? I'd imagine it's hard. You know, you're going away and you're on the bench and you don't get minutes and you're just nearly like. You're like I except for the first time I've ever played, we were away in France and the stadium was full, and it's never been like at a women's game now like it is, but in 2012 it wasn't the case. So anytime Goose, our coach at the time, turned around and looked at the bench, I was kind of like, oh my God, make yourself small, don't let this happen, I don't know enough, this is how am I even here?
Yeah.
But like the minute I didn't get on in that game, and then I regretted it. But once you're on the bench for a while, you're like, oh, give me, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same for some people, but you're like dying to get on. And it's kind of hard not getting those minutes week in, week out. So
yeah. So you is that like a nervous thing? Like you're kind of going, oh, I'm anxious about the game, I'm anxious about getting on.
Yeah, like when I came in to camp, they'd already selected the training squad for Six Nations, and so it was final and I wasn't in it. I'd just taken up rugby maybe a year and a half, 2 years before that. And they basically flew over any of the Irish exiles. I was living in London at the time to play in a warm-up game against the girls before they kicked off the championship. And like we got absolutely hockeyed. Like, yeah, it was like tackle bags with a pulse. That is what we were. And it was my third game in the back, so I played like second row and flanker for a while. So I was like an absolute dope. I could just not. Well, I felt like that I was, and that was grand. It was 3 weeks in. They only had 2 or 3 weeks left, and then Six Nations was kicking off. Flew back to the UK, and then got a phone call from Gemma Crowley, who was the manager at the time, and I kind of assumed, because I I injured one of the Irish girls in a tackle, and I was like, oh God, I can't afford medical bills. Like that was my.
You thought she was calling to charge you?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I'm not like I'm eating beans and tuna. That's my student diet, and it was a call in work. I was working in a bar at the time, so I was like, oh no. And she's like, oh, like, what are you doing next
No
weekend?
more beans and tuna for you, Jenny.
Yeah, prime life. So yeah, I got invited back to the 4th or 5th week of the Six Nations training thing. Like not like completely clueless. Went to that. I think maybe went to a second one, and they cut the squad. I got cut, and then somebody got injured, and that's how I was in the squad in 2012. Just like 2 or 3 weeks in, really late. Hence my like, please don't put me on.
Yeah.
I will, whatever. And then in the end, it turned out okay. Got my first cap.
I'd
against
imagine
Italy.
that's really common though. Like just rugby is always. I've always thought this. It's so fickle, and whenever things aren't going well or you've got injuries, it changes so quickly, and your misfortune becomes someone else's misfortune very quickly, or the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example is Dan Levy in last year's Six Nations. You know, am I right in saying
Sean
got injured,
Yeah.
and then
Van der Fleer.
Josh got injured,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Dan came in, so Dan was effectively third choice 7, came in, and how good was he last year?
Was he like, did he get a few man of the matches? Or if he didn't, he was up there in terms of like, where did this guy come
Yeah,
from? Like
yeah.
he was class.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's definitely, it's like a roller coaster. You take the highs and you try
Yeah.
and take the lows and stuff.
I bumped
as well.
into Dan Levy actually the other day. I was in Dublin, and he brought to my attention a story that I didn't realise was interpreted this way. So when I was in Scotland a couple of weeks ago, I bumped into James Ryan, and I was trying to think quickly. I'm not sure I've ever met James Ryan before, so I just went, "Hi, James," and he didn't. I thought maybe, who knows, maybe he'll know me.
I played against
Yeah, I know.
I was
Yeah,
in Chicago that
yeah,
day.
yeah. I beat the All Blacks, James. Nice to meet you. So I went, "Hi, James," and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And you like, and I went, "Andrew." He went, "Andrew," and like, in hindsight, I maybe should have gone Trimby maybe or something.
Yeah.
But then Dan Levy was telling me that because I remember I got in the lift and I went, I just went, I think I've become a pothole. I've been retired 8 months, and now I'm that guy that we hated, trying to chat to guys. You know, whenever they're vulnerable, when they're on their own. Hey, how's things? What's it like being a professional rugby? You know. Anyway.
What's Joe's mood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. What's Joe really like? Yeah. So anyway, apparently James, he realised then afterwards, and then we were both like having these independent moments where he was like, "Oh, that should have known," and then I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said him." So
I'm picturing kind of like a rom-com, and like you're in your room and his room, and he's like going over. He's like, "I should have said this."
yeah,
Here.
so stupid.
God, he's never going to add me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those awkward elevator chats.
Oh man,
Nice.
yeah, it was fine. I just moved on. I just put it at the back of my mind until Levy brought it up there again.
Maybe he might hear this and
Yeah.
like, oh,
I hope he
Andrew's a
listens.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is that how you interpret that story?
Well, the fact
That's
that
the
you
conclusion
the
you
fact
jumped
that you
to.
didn't even go, no, you may not address me as Trimby. It's Andrew.
Yeah. We're not
He's
there
like,
yet,
"Oh,
mate. Yeah.
You've got to earn it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, Pat's gonna give off to us here.
sorry.
So anyway, right. So there's a couple of other fellas got a bit of game time. John Cooney, Jordy Murphy got a bit of game time. Ian Henderson got a bit of game time for Ulster, and got penalised for a bit of a neck roll, and we're sort of hoping nothing else comes of that. But yeah. But,
I will say no more.
yeah.
If possible. Okay.
And then Munster Andrew Conway probably put himself in the mix a little bit.
Oh yeah, I actually saw some highlights. He did really well.
Got a couple of tries.
Yeah. Yeah, Munster had a good game.
He might get the nod. We'll see. For Leinster, Jack McGrath, Andrew Porter got a bit of game time. For Leinster, or for Connacht, Alton Delan went well. Apparently, carrying left, right, and centre. He's a serious athlete. Him.
Oh
Gets
yeah.
around the pitch.
His stride is Like it's a proper gallop.
It's a gazelle. It's
Yeah, you're kind of like, his legs aren't moving that fast. But then when you see the distance he's covering, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's impressive.
He's got tiny little ankles. He's got like these little ankles. Like if he wasn't wearing boots, he'd be sinking.
Oh,
Like he would
that's a really tiny ankles. I've never.
tiny ankles.
Tiny
Sorry,
ankles.
not wearing boots. If he wasn't wearing feet. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
More
I don't know.
importantly, yeah,
Okay.
he's got tiny ankles, but he's very athletic and
Okay, so
gazelle.
they'd be really narrow hooves.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'd be
Oh,
like-
now I'm picturing him as a senator.
as a senator.
Senator? What, senator?
Yeah.
Yeah, the little half horse, half. I'm going to stop talking
Like the
now and go,
wheelies from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it's The Wizard of Oz. Never mind.
No, there was one on the Tumney. Oh, God.
We need to be careful.
We're
need to
going,
be
we're
careful.
veering wildly off
Yeah.
here.
Listen, let's.
Sorry, Baz.
Let's get on.
Save that kind of stuff for Balderdash.
Yeah, I know. We've got a guest balderdash this week, Jenny.
Yeah.
It's not easy, is it?
It's actually really hard. Yeah.
I find the whole process quite therapeutic. I just think of the least likely outcome for anything, or the least likely job or situation you could find yourself in. And I'm like, oh, imagine that was real. And I create a real example.
I just pick someone. I'm like, how could I embarrass them
Yeah.
using this medium?
Yeah.
That's kind
Perfect.
of route I went down.
So, did you played against Italy a few times?
Yeah, got my first cap against Italy, and then was played away. Like not too many times. I should probably know the number offhand, but maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like wherever we've gone. I think we only played near Rome once, and like it was the nicest hotel we've ever been in.
Really?
Yeah, like we went insane on the hot chocolates.
Yeah.
It was just basically melted chocolate with a garnish of milk.
Oh, nice.
So the nutritionist, obviously, that was all kind of on the side.
Yeah.
And all that. So yeah, and then any of the times it's been up north, near Milan. So our Grand Slam decider was in Parabaggio, in 2013, and it was freezing. The pitch was absolutely abysmal. Like you'd see a picture of it, and it didn't look playable. Like you'd kick the ball and it would hop twice and then just stop,
Yeah.
like dead stop. So it made for lovely rugby. 6-3 final score in the end.
Oh man, a 6-3.
Yeah.
Sounds like a thriller.
I was on the bench as well, myself and an Ulster girl, Ashley Baxter. We were injured, we got injured in France, or against France the week before, so we had to sit out. And
Injured, so they put you on the bench?
no, because it was Grand Slam, and we had like knocks, and they were sending us to. Some of us were doing sevens as well, so we had to go for a World Series. We were in China. We were playing in Hong Kong, and then in China a week and a bit later. So we weren't playing. Like I tore my calf muscle, and
Yeah.
I can't remember what backs did. So they flew us out separately, but we were staying in the same hotel as the girls. We arrived the day of the game, and yeah, we were sitting on the sideline. We're like, this is whoa, like it was horrible. Yeah, it was not great rugby, and we were Baltic. I think this Italian cameraman was walking up and down, and he saw our miserable cold faces, and kind of offered to get us a drink. Yeah, and we just assumed it would be like hot chocolate or whatever, something warm. And he returned with like 2 little plastic cups of water, which is still nice of him. So he's like, just knock it back or whatever, knock it back. So myself and Bax knocked it.
You must have been suspicious when he said knock it back.
Well, he was kind of being really aggressive, telling us to drink it. So we kind of panicked, knocked it back, and it was guappa, this Italian, it's basically Italian poutine, blew the socks off us. Both of us started crying. And at that time, the camera kind of turned, and the 2 utter asses, myself and Bax, were like crying and kind of doing this and looked like idiots. And it didn't make any sense because it was 3-3 at the time, and there was 2 subs like
Yeah.
being zapped.
So is that what it looked like? You were so emotional about the game?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
where the game was
And
going?
there was still like 50 minutes to go. So, yeah, I got texts off my friends be like, are you all right? My nicer friends said that, and the others were like, sap.
Sap.
Yeah, just like so. Support.
Oh, you're just like, oh, I love 6-3 wins. I love bad weather conditions.
Well, do you like playing in Italy yourself, or is there?
I've only played in Italy once or twice. Sorry, once.
Right.
In 2007, whenever we got beat, that was the year we got beat. Vincent Clark scored at Croke, actually, in the last play of the game to win the game, and then they got beat by someone else along the way, and then France beat us on points difference in the end, and they were playing Scotland. After the game, we just scored as many points as we could against Italy, and then we were waiting to see if Scotland were going to do us a favour, limit France's point scoring. And Ewan Murray, the prop, went over at one stage, and we were all in the bar, buzzing, thinking we have a chance of winning the Six Nations here. And then the feed went on the TV, so it just went black. And then someone then goes, right, we better get going here. We've got to be at the dinner in 20 minutes, so we had to go up to rooms and get ready. And we were just walking about going, we may have won the Six Nations, but we don't know.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
And you you had that with, you were at least able to watch it with the Six Nations in 2015.
Yeah.
You were like waiting on a result as well.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I wasn't involved that time. I was injured at the time, but yeah, that's right. Yeah, they had to, because they were all in their suits when they lifted the trophy at the end. I was in Italy one other time actually, but I was over as, similar to yourself, I was over as like 24th man. And
they're great. That's
yeah,
great fun.
I know. So I went over, it was in the run up to that, it was Kidney was the coach, and generally myself and Donnacha O'Callaghan had this like thing where if we got beat, it was either his fault or it was my fault. And one of us got dropped, and then we would go into the meeting after having got beat the weekend before, the selection meeting, and we both looking at each other going, listen, it's one of us. Fingers crossed it's you and not me. One of us is getting the axe here. But on that occasion, both of us got the blame. So we were both chopped, and we were both 24th and 25th men going to Italy. And we were like, listen, not ideal, but let's have a bit of a city break. The two of us. We were like, listen, we're going to Rome for a few days, and we haven't got that much responsibility now. We've got to turn up the sessions and the meetings and stuff, but we may as well have a good time. So we did...
the scooter, I can picture you on a scooter, Donnacha O'Callaghan wrapped around you like a Roman holiday.
Yeah, like Dumb and Dumber.
Even better.
Take my spare gloves, my hands are getting sweaty. So we did Trevi Fountain, Spanish Steps, went out for coffees, out for pizzas, ice cream, and then after the captain's practice on the Friday, we went and did an open top bus tour. And we were like driving around Rome, and then we went past a few of the lads who were sitting having coffees, whatever, and we were there. Good luck at the weekend, fellas. All the best. We had the time of our lives, not a care in the world. And then come game time, and this was the year, I don't know what year this was, Ireland got beat. And it was whenever they got loads of injuries, and then Pete O'Mahony ended up playing on the wing for Ireland. I can't remember exactly what the connotations were, but anyway, needless to say, Italy played really well, and we were crap, and we got beat. And then myself and Donnacha were just like, for once, this is not our fault. So we just like stuff it. What can you do?
Nice.
Yeah.
Free tour of Rome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Grand.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Came back bouncing.
Tiramisu.
Yeah.
Class.
Exactly.
Sorry,
yeah.
Declan.
So that's my experience of Rome.
Yeah. Oh no, I like going to play Italy. Like, and the women's team they're definitely on the up. Like they're like occasionally they'll like beat the bigger, like they've beaten France a few times. Like going there they're always up for it.
Yeah.
And they're starting to get some more decent kind of crowds as well. So
what sort of crowd would they be getting then?
Like I'm gonna say over 3,000 anyway, like, because they have it in like really remote stadiums, on like random hours, but like in the Six Nations at the moment with the women, there's been a few like record breaking attendances, like Ireland's home game, the England game, that was the highest, or the highest numbers at a women's game in Ireland. And then the following week, France were playing England in England, and it was another record breaking attendance. So it's hopefully for the next home game France or against France, it'll be kind of similar enough. Like Donnybrook will be packed. Like it does make such a difference.
Yeah.
Like even when I started, there was like you can at the warm up maybe you can have a look around. You're like, oh, there's Dad.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that's kind of
No, your dad doesn't go.
Now
Can't get tickets.
too expensive, too rich. Yeah, so like, and that's really cool. Like before it was like, and I said it like family and friends, and now it's like, it's an international game, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So why not like
Yeah.
give it a go? So that's my shout out. Go to the game.
Yeah, the plug.
We were talking to Fiona Coughlin earlier in the week, and she was saying that over in Italy it's like a big event, the women's games, because the towns bid for the games to get them over there. Like.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They get like I remember one in 2015 we were playing, and there's like they have this big they put up huge tents and marquees and have like 3 or 6 course meals. And obviously you're sitting beside all the kind of players and stuff. It's really nice, and they have like music and stuff, but none of the girls speak Italian, and a lot of the Italian players don't speak English. So we're sitting beside each other, and it's a lot of like, I'm going to talk louder and hopefully you understand what I'm saying, like, and vice versa. But then
Did you try saying it in English with an Italian accent? Did you try that?
No, but I have thrown the like the loose, like the
or the Italian football to the referee, come on.
Caravaggio. Yeah, they love that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the girls we found out, so Sene Nipu, she was in here a while ago.
Uh-huh.
So Sene played rugby in Japan with George. George was playing, her husband was playing in Japan as well. So George speaks Japanese quite well, and so does Sene. And so we're sitting down anyway, and I don't know how they figured it out, but one of the Italian rugby players was living in Japan for a while, so they were both speaking Japanese to each other, and that's how. That's how we kind of figured out what was going on. It was just like, and obviously everyone else at the table was like, oh, what am I doing with my life? I feel so stupid. And then like, pretty much fluent Japanese from Sene and this Italian woman. So it was pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. Carry on.
If you were like players to watch out for in the Italy game, I know it's still a little bit of ways, but can you think of any offhand that you were like, oh, well, apart from Parise, like he's...
No, just Parise, really.
Fair enough.
Parise's lost more test matches than anybody else in the world.
Oh, that is a...
What a shame for such a class player.
Yeah, that is...
What a loser.
Parise, good get...
Yeah.
Oh, that's... And like even with Stade Francais, he's not got great wins there.
Yeah,
either.
well, they've been up and down, haven't they?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so loser. Great. And
Yeah.
what was the other? There's a guy who played with Exeter Chiefs for a while. Is it their 13? And now he's back.
Campagnaro, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he go to Wasp now?
Oh,
Wasp?
yeah. Like he's again like not like he has flashes of brilliance, and then you're like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
I think especially in a position like 13,
Yeah.
like being kind of solid and consistent. But if you do one small error, can just be glaringly obvious and completely turn the game. I said like even Ireland, Italy, in Chicago, like there was a few. He was having a great game, and then a few absolute stinkers.
Yeah.
And just
He was captain that day, I think.
yeah.
Which
yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen him be captain before, but I'd imagine that might have had a bit of an impact. A
Probably.
little bit of a distraction, maybe.
Yeah.
The other one who's injured at the minute is Minozzi. Is that his name, Pat? Matteo Minozzi.
Yeah,
he's the wee fellow, the wee fullback, who is class, absolute live wire. But I was chatting to Conor O'Shea about this a few weeks ago at an event at the Aviva, and he was saying, he's out at the minute, but he's the sort of guy when they get to the World Cup, if they get 2 or 3 other guys like your Campagnaros, Parises, Matteo Minozzis, these guys, if they're all fit, then you just never know. There's enough talent there that they could produce a wee bit of a something similar. This is what Conor O'Shea was saying. Do something similar to what Japan did to South Africa at the last World Cup. That's what they're holding out for. If they get everybody fit and there's a bit of flair, there's a bit of talent, then you just never know. Every now and again they'll get a big performance and get a big result. Yeah, hopefully not this weekend.
Yeah, save that for the World Cup. Or save it for, because like Conor O'Shea's been. Like I was chatting to some of the guys over there, and they were talking to some of the Treviso players, and when Conor O'Shea took over, they found it so strange that he was like, he would take turns going to the Italian clubs. Suppose the previous coach, the French coach now, never visited at all, which I found bizarre. Yeah, he just was so removed. It was the national squad, and anything underneath that was not important. And like, I think it's important that your head coach is getting kind of stuck in that way, and that's
especially when there's only two clubs.
Yeah, like it's not that.
Yeah,
yeah. I thought
like in Scotland, I would imagine Gregor Townsend would be doing the rounds, and in Ireland, Joe would be up a bit. Andy Farrell would be up in Ulster doing the rounds, all the provinces. So, yeah, I think you kind of have to have that connection, don't you?
Like maybe that's another, like with France as well. Like I don't like in talking, like one of the girls was with Italy during the World Cup, and like he didn't even learn Italian or anything. I know we're speaking about like the French coach now, Brunel. Yeah. So that's like, I just find that bizarre. Like if I think you need to show players that you're making an effort.
Yeah, I know Conor O'Shea was really conscious to try and do as much as he could. I think he was always concerned that the conversations that you have with a coach, that they're I don't know, I suppose whenever I was talking to a coach, I always listened really carefully to what they were saying. What's the reasons why I'm being dropped, or what's the reasons why I'm being selected, or what do I need to work on? That's really important, that information is communicated perfectly and correctly. And Conor O'Shea was very aware of that. Just that obviously language thing, it's very important to make sure that he's communicating that and the guys are all on the same page. But listen, let's leave it there.
Nice.
We've got Kieran Marmion coming up in a minute on the blower.
Give him a grilling.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it's going so far?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel a little bit more comfortable than I did 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Grant.
Terrible.
So I'm still like, I've definitely said weird stuff already.
I've said weird stuff. I said language in the wardrobe, and I meant, what was it? Never mind.
I don't know. I didn't join you in the Rocky theme tune. I was like, I let him down.
Yeah, I know. You did.
I was like, Basil wouldn't have done that.
Anyway, let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Marms, how you getting on? It's Trimby here.
And Jen.
Hey, Trimby. Oh, good. Hey, Jen, how you getting on?
Yeah, how you feeling after coming back from the dead?
Yeah, good. Yeah, got a good 25 minutes under the belt, so obviously good to get out on the pitch. The lungs are a bit sore afterwards, but kind of expecting that anyway. So just happy to get out there and have a run around, really.
Have you been absolutely hating Keelan Blade because he's been playing well in your absence?
Yeah, he's been going well. It's been it's tough to watch when other people go well and you can't really do too much yourself. So, but yeah, no, I'm delighted for him. But hopefully now I can get back on the pitch and hopefully put in 2 good performances myself. Yeah,
good man. I'm sure Joe's missed you. I know he's a massive fan of yours, and he obviously gave you the nod in November. Am I right in saying you'd picked up the knock? It was your ankle, wasn't it?
The ankle, yeah. Yeah,
did you pick that up before November, and then you kind of carried it into the November series?
Yeah, I did that up in your place up against Ulster just before Christmas. So, I took a few weeks out after I did that and played a few games back for Connacht. It was fine, like we shot it up, but I think after the November series we decided that we get it right, get the up on it, and hopefully have no more issues with it going forward.
Yeah. Okay. So, and was it massively affecting you, or like was it one of these ones with the World Cup? Kind of maybe similar, because Jack McGrath was in here and he'd been carrying, forget what it was,
back or something, or hip.
Hip, wasn't it?
Hip. Yeah. So he'd been carrying that, and the same sort of thing, because there's obviously such a big 6 or 8 months ahead of you. Is that the mindset? Was it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think when I heard it in that Ulster game, I heard it a few times afterwards. Time I'd catch it and it'd be pretty sore for a few days. So I think we said like going forward it'd be best to sort it out and then hopefully have no more issues for the rest of the season and going forward as well. So hopefully now all the recovery's done and hopefully it holds up and there won't be any more problems with it for the rest of the season. Yeah.
Is it a weight off your shoulders, with those kind of constant niggles that you have to manage? Is it now that you've got your 25 minutes and you're kind of confident going into the next game? Is it like a bit like a weight off the shoulders, or just you kind of like didn't really think too much about it?
I think going into that game on the weekend, the main thing was just getting a few contacts and getting through a few minutes. And I was a bit nervous. I've never really been injured before, so you do have a bit of nerves going into it, thinking will I hold up or not. But you just got to trust what the specialists and physios say as well. So obviously they're confident of you going into the game. So, but again, in the back of your head, you are a bit nervous. So it's just getting through those first few contacts and minutes, really.
And then the last kind of 6 weeks or so, have you just been getting back running, just been ran ragged by the S&C coaches, and then just doing PRs in your day offs and stuff like that?
Yeah. Pretty glad to get out of the injury group, to be honest. They had us doing our own sessions, doing lots of fitness and getting back up to speed, just learning to run again, really. But yeah, it's been tough 6 weeks. Again, when you go into a game, there's nothing really that replicates a game. So it was blowing a bit on the weekend, but I guess the more you play, the easier it gets in the end, I think.
Yeah, the first bit of being injured is kind of it's like the honeymoon period, I suppose, where you get a lot of sympathy and you don't have to be outside training when it's freezing wet. You kind of just do your uppers with your mates and then go for coffees between sessions, and then once that wears off, then they make up for it, I think. But
if you like your physio and you like your S&C, your early stages of injury, and then when it turns and you're like, they're all pricks and I hate them, then you're like, I can see the light. So the ankle is getting better, but I hate you all. That's how I think it.
That sounds about right. But here, good win for Connacht then, back on track. Or not back on track, they've been winning.
Yeah. Yeah, we have been winning. That was obviously a pretty crucial game for us. It was 2 points behind us going into that game. So it was a must-win game really for us. And I think a few results over the weekend kind of went our way, with Ospreys losing and Cardiff losing as well. So I think we have, 5 or 6 games left in the season. I think we have Glasgow up next. So the next few games will be big in terms of where we finish up at the end of the season. So and that was a big block for us. I think we're away to Glasgow this weekend, so it's a game we'll target. I think they'll be missing a good portion of their squad to the Six Nations. So it's a game, I think we lost by a point over there last year, so it's definitely a game that we can target and try and win this weekend as well.
Yeah, you're sitting in third at the minute. I know like top two are kind of a little bit ahead, about 9 points. I think you're 9 points off second, but like you're in decent shape there to get a playoff anyway.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think we've got the games coming up as well. All the teams around us, obviously Glasgow, Ospreys, Cardiff. So they're all pretty big games now till the end of the season. Obviously, we want to win as many of them as we can and put ourselves in the best position we can to get a playoff spot at the end of the year.
Potentially, you could be. So if you're sitting third, then you could end up playing off either like Treviso are sitting second in Conference B, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Treviso and Edinburgh are both sitting there. Yeah, so like I'm not saying those are easy fixtures, but the way they're sitting at the minute, you could end up with an away fixture that was very winnable. Obviously, this is way on down the line.
Yeah. Exactly. All we can think about really is just putting ourselves in the position to get third, potentially second, maybe if we can get a few wins in the next few games. So all we can do is just concentrate on ourselves and just try and get as many wins as we can from now to the end of the year.
And are you looking forward to going back into camp then during the week?
Well, I'll hopefully get a bit of game time with Connacht, and I guess I've got to put in a few good performances to get back in there. I think hopefully this weekend now should get a bit more minutes under my belt, see how that goes, and hopefully if I can perform well, then hopefully I can put my hand up to get back in there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get back in the mix after like doing so well in the autumn. Tell us, I think am I right in saying you played against Argentina and then played against New Zealand, the 2 games?
Yeah, that's right. Played those 2 games and then got the operation on the Wednesday after the New Zealand game.
Yeah, it must have been nice that the week before Italy, whenever they sent all the Italian ones off, and it probably didn't look like a touring party that was gonna feature kind of in the like first picks, I suppose, or against the big names against New Zealand. Must have been nice sitting at home with the Rob Carneys, the Johnny Sextons, the Rory Best of this world, thinking, I'm one of these guys now.
Yeah, well, you never know, do you? You never know who's going to get picked for what game. So I think I actually played for Connacht that weekend while they were over in Chicago, wasn't it? So yeah, I was told by Joe to get some game time for Connacht, so I didn't know really where it stood, to be honest. Like, but yeah, no, I was just thinking about just playing for the club for Connacht, and then hopefully the next week get picked for that Argentina game.
Yeah, and you were in Chicago for the All Blacks game a couple of years ago as well, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
And how did like after the game, how did it compare? Kind of the buzz in the change room, or I know the build up to the game in Dublin was massive and almost made the Argentina game and the USA game, either side of it, they were just flat and there was no buzz or no atmosphere in the crowd, but everything was about that All Blacks game. But how did that compare, the dressing room afterwards compared to Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, over in Chicago, you were playing that game, were you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, playing that one.
Casual dropping in the Chicago game. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously that was special because that was the first time Ireland had beat New Zealand. So, but again, for me, like I didn't actually get on in that game. So, playing in this and playing in the starting position, I guess that meant quite a lot to me. But again, whenever you beat the top side in the world, it's always a great buzz. So, I guess they were both pretty special moments, and we definitely enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, it sounds to me like you're saying Chicago was a better occasion.
Well, I think that time we'd never beaten them before, have we? So
yeah, I agree completely.
I remember that one pretty well. That was good, but no, they were both great. Like again, for me, being involved in that second game, I enjoyed that hugely. Like so, yeah, both great occasions.
Right, Marms, listen, we'll let you go. I'm sure you've got things to do, but thanks so much for coming on the show, and good luck. Hopefully you get a bit of game time this weekend and get back back where you were before.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Good man, Marms. Take it easy. Cheers.
Thank you, lad. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, right. Welcome back to House of Rugby Roundup Part 3.
That was really good. You're getting better at it.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Oh
cheers.
my God, Baz's gonna be like, "Oh, he's taking my job.
Yeah.
He's taking my intro
Suck
job."
on that, Baz.
Enjoy Canada. Maple syrup loving. Yeah.
Whatever you are.
Yeah, whatever.
Tell us, last wee bit of rugby. Last couple of bits of rugby.
Okay.
Other Six Nations games this weekend apart from Ireland. This is Ireland's last chance really of winning Six Nations this year. If Wales beat England, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because after that, then they've got 2 home games, Italy and Scotland at home.
And then can we not, if we beat Wales away, or we beat Wales in Cardiff, does that not do anything? No.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this is the only chance that England are going to slip up.
Oh yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Away to Wales.
I think Millennium Stadium as well. That's I think one of the toughest places to go in the Six Nations. So hopefully that will. I think if England had Wales at home, you'd be kind of like,
yeah,
we're kind of done.
Yeah, but we're not done yet.
We're not done
yet. If
yet.
England beat Wales this weekend, we're pretty much done, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we're pretty duffed.
Yeah, we're
at that stage. We're
looking at second.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We just go under the radar for World Cup and then dark horse it.
Oh man, we're also spoiled, aren't we? What do you mean we didn't win a Grand Slam? What do you mean we didn't win the Six Nations? Second.
Joe.
Yeah. You're fired.
Yeah, we are spoiled.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think that's going to be the Wales England game is going to be, apart from like Ireland Italy, which we'll all be watching.
Yeah.
That game is going to be a whopper.
Yeah.
So it'll be tough though. Like again, we said like Bigger's out, Halfpenny's out. I think he's one of the best defensive fullbacks when he's fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Cardiff.
Yeah.
Cardiff is like a tough
might be
place
tricky.
Yeah.
Might be tricky.
Fingers
crossed. And then France Scotland. I think we're all hoping France get their finger out a little bit. Are we not?
Yeah. Yeah, like they've played some lovely rugby, and then they've just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't.
So much talent, so much ability, and then they just, like last week against Twickenham was just,
It's just like, sometimes it's really simple, basic errors that you kind of, again, like you said, we're spoiled rotten. We don't see these crazy overhead, terrible catch passes. It's pretty much lovely all the time. And then when you see like a Frenchman throw it, you kind of like, where did that come from? Because we're so used to like that, those basic skills being pretty much perfect and consistent all the time. And in
Yeah.
France, they don't have that. Like one of his, they don't have like a school system. There's no academies in place. So, you know, there's no, like nothing is filtered down. Basically, you're going straight into a club, and maybe that kind of foundation that you've
Yeah.
learned. Like we're again like so lucky, like Leinster Academy, Munster Academy, all they do trickle up, and when you do come into either a Six Nations squad or your Pro 14 or your Heineken Cup squad, provincial squads, like the level is pretty high already that you've got to.
They they seem to be more concerned about entertaining than winning, and they're doing neither at the minute. To be fair, David O'Doherty actually last week said he's a mate of ours.
I saw that. I loved his kick.
He's a friend of ours.
It's pretty impressive.
Big fan of the show.
Yeah. Did you ask him twice?
I didn't actually.
Okay.
I forgot. I
Changing
was so
it up.
starstruck that I forgot.
Okay.
I was just like this the whole time. And Barry and him chatted away. I just sat and went like this, stared at them. Anyway, he said he actually knows his rugby quite a bit. He brought us back to rugby. We were going on tangents. He brought us back. But he said he was asking if the likes of Joe went to France, was coaching France. There's so much talent, so much ability there. Would he be able to, or is it something that's just ingrained culturally where they just throw the ball about and they're not pragmatic in their approach, I suppose. I think, well, I certainly believe that Joe could go into any environment and kind of change the culture, because it's just a little like a subculture, you know, within this team. We know how to win, and Ireland know how to win. But I find it frustrating recently. Sorry, I'm rattling through.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah, I find it frustrating recently that a few journalists have come out and been very critical of Ireland's style or Joe's style. But it's been so good and it's been so relentless for so long. And then that loss against England, and then people are like questioning the whole philosophy. I think it's mad that people are saying this. If you want Ireland to throw the ball about and be frivolous with the ball, then they're going to start, if they take your word for it and take your advice, they're going to start performing like France. And I don't think you'll be that happy with that style of play either.
No, it gives you anxiety, ulcers, and you don't get a win. Like with how Joe's playing, we are playing nice rugby. It's like, okay, some people can brand it as safe, but it's smart, and like, I don't know, it's tough to beat. It's tough to beat that.
It's impressive as well.
Yeah,
They say,
like,
there was one, I think a couple of guys that come out and said, Ireland, they just hold on to the ball. They hold on to the ball. I'm like, well, that's brilliant. And then it's England that are getting the praise at the minute for, you know, discovering all the space in the backfield and resorting to a kicking game. Whenever Ireland did go through a kind of a passage of a lot of kicks, a high percentage of their play was coming from kicks, then they were getting criticism for that as well. So
like you can't win. You can't win. Like,
Yeah.
so, and well, Ireland can't. Like they're good at it. So I don't know. I think just some people like to have that was class all the time, but that's not sustainable, and that won't get you a win at the end of the day. So and like we're like still doing some like lovely passages of play that are so entertaining and have such a level of skill, and it's across the board. It's not just, you know, your 13s and fullbacks like flinging around the ball. It's from 1 to 15 and the bench that are like a part of this really intricate move. Like Stockdale's try was a beautiful try, and I was watching that again. And I was like, oh, there's so many little components, and it needs to be perfect in order to make that work, which is true of so many of Joe's set pieces and his moves. Like you don't get that from just playing around the ball. It doesn't work like that.
No, exactly. You can't. You can't know what 7, 8, 9 of your teammates are going to do exactly, because what you have to do, your contribution has to kind of tie in with everybody else's contribution.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got a plan, or you're not
If it's
detailed,
15 individuals, it doesn't work.
it's carnage. Yeah. So anyway, we're big fans. We're sticking with this Ireland team, aren't we?
100%.
So anyway, thank you very much for your votes for this week's Guinness Made of More Player of the Weekend. I don't know if this is an award that's really celebrated out there, because they get nothing. But I mean, they get a token gesture of that we tell them we're going to send them Paul O'Connell's teeth, which we don't do. So it's a lazy shambolic award. But the winner of it this week, no, the nominations. Let's build it up.
Okay.
The nominations are Jean Klein, Stuart McCluskey, Jack Carty, and Ross Byrne. And the winner is
I don't know.
Jean Klein.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, that's the way I always react.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's in bold right there, and I read it earlier. Great.
Yeah.
Class.
So
So
anyway.
he's getting teeth, but not really.
Yeah, he's not getting in. Unlucky Jean.
Paddy, are you keeping all these teeth? Do you actually have a set of like
Have
teeth
you
and you're
been-
just like,
Stockpiling the teeth.
yeah.
We'll get all the lads in for like a big end of season bash, and we'll start handing their teeth down.
They won't turn up.
Yeah. Can you have like
maybe.
players? So you get like all the regular teeth, but then say if someone has won it multiple times, could we get like a grill, like a gold? Maybe that could be the
Nice, yeah.
pièce de résistance, the like top prize.
James Ryan, yeah, he's on course for the grill,
Okay.
the gold
Yeah.
Paulie's teeth grill.
Oh man, I'd love to see Paul O'Connell with a grill. That'd be cool.
So thanks very much for your. Oh no! Before we go on to Ask HOR, we've got a guest balderdasher.
Okay.
Jenny, take it away.
Okay. So today, because we were speaking to a 9, Kieran Marmion, I went with one of the best 9s that I've ever played with. Her name's Tanya Rosser. So she won multiple AILs, been a part of a couple of World Cups, over 50 caps for her country. What is Tanya doing now? So her brother-in-law took up pigeon racing, and she kind of naturally developed a passion for it. So she's now training racing pigeons. So basically, like, you release the bird, they return home, and there's a few birds, and the quickest bird, like, to cover a certain amount of distance wins.
You have to go out like, into the countryside
Like
and just let them free.
Yeah, you let them free, and then they come home.
And then you just have to drive home quickly before the pigeon
Yeah.
gets there.
Yeah.
Because if you arrive home and the 3 pigeons are all there, then you're like, well,
Who got
won?
there? Who got
Who
there?
won?
Who got there? Well, I think they have it like, so say if you have a pigeon, Paddy has a pigeon, you both set them off, but obviously Paddy's pigeon is not going to go back to your house. So you have like a little GPS or whatever, so it measures like 50 kilometers.
Yeah.
And then it's like they have little chips, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, and there's certain breeds. Tanya was telling me this. There's certain breeds of pigeon that you have to have. They're called Homer pigeons, or Homer pigeons. Or racing homers is the only type of pigeon that is like built for racing.
Wow.
It's mad, and then it's big in Belgium. Anyway, that's where she's moved to.
Belgium?
Maybe that's where she possibly moved to.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
big
one
there.
option.
That's one option. Yeah. So she's racing there. Second, she's coaching the Clontarf men's team with James Downey and playing touch for Ireland. Third, she's launched her own line of organic soaps, but they're rugby themed. So you've got like yellow cardamom ref.
Oh, nice.
And Extra Time and Basil is just a few of them.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Does she do well out of the soap in the soap market? Is that booming?
It's not a great market. There's a lot of competition
Okay.
through a lot of different areas. Now she
There's
does
a lot
have
of other rugby pun.
no.
soaps?
She's got a monopoly on that,
Uh-huh.
but it's just the kind of pairings that she chooses aren't the best. So she
Yeah,
could do
okay.
better. Hopefully, us talking about it will help her soap.
Yeah. Well, it's a
business.
massive platform,
It is,
isn't it?
yeah. Prepare for online orders.
the-
Tanya, you're welcome. I don't know if I'm
yeah.
looking at the right camera.
Tanya,
I'll look at all three.
The eyes of the nation are on us, and we're promoting your brand.
Yeah.
Or if we're not, I'm gonna go for pigeon. I hope she's a pigeon racer. Please be a pigeon racer. Please don't be just coaching Clontarf with James Downey.
She's coaching Clontarf.
Oh no! I wanted her to be a pigeon racer.
So do I. As I was like coming up with it, I was like, "Oh, this would be perfect."
That
I could
is
picture it with like
class.
a Del Boy hat and everything.
Yeah. Can I just say you did a brilliant job you were extremely convincing. I genuinely did think there was a chance that she was a pigeon racer.
Yes. If I was crap at everything else in this podcast, but I've nailed that,
You're a good liar.
I feel content.
You're
Yeah.
a creative liar.
Yeah.
You went with it as well. You said, yeah, Tanya always says, yeah, about these pigeons, they've got GPS. Right, last feature. Ask HOR. Thanks very much for all your questions. A couple of creative ones this week.
I like them, yeah.
Blue Moon Cinco. If your lives depended on it, what Irish player would you back in a Mario Kart race? I'm not sure if he means the player actually being the character in the Mario Kart race,
Okay.
or someone who played a lot of Mario Kart when they were younger. I remember I went through a real, like a 6-month phase of playing Mario Kart non-stop when I was a youngster. And then, like a youngster, like 17, 18 or whatever. And we got in the car and I just couldn't understand, like, where's all the banana? Why am I not slipping on bananas in the car?
Who was your character that you picked all the time? Did you have, like,
Luigi or Mario. I went for someone kind of mid, like not heavy but not too
Yeah.
light, kind of just they could cope with a little bit of physicality.
okay. I
but
just went
also-
light. I was like Toad or Yoshi.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah. Anyway, Castle Maguire. Rugby seems to be.
Did we answer that or?
No, we didn't. No.
Okay, pass. Grand.
Castle Maguire.
Sorry,
Rugby.
Blue Moon.
Yeah. Give us a shout again. We'll get the next one. Yeah. Rugby seems to be all about jocks these days. How about a smarty pants 15 of nerds, dorks, and geeks? Darragh O'Brien could do some damage in the tight, I'd say.
Yeah, Darragh O'Brien could be.
O'Brien,
ball.
sorry, I said O'Brien. Yeah.
It's fine. I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Yeah. He'll not watch.
Yeah. Who would I have?
So, do you want to build our team around Darragh O'Brien?
Yeah. Okay.
I've got him at hooker.
Yeah, I think that would be solid.
So I've gone for 3. I wasn't sure exactly if they meant like famous people who are really smart that we could just teach to play rugby and join our 15, or if, and again, there's kind of 2 categories even within rugby. So I thought there's just nerds and dorks, or there's really smart rugby players. So kind of
You got a mix of.
I've made a bit of a mix.
Okay.
My type 5 is more, apart from Darragh O'Brien at hooker, is more or less smart rugby players who are all a little bit nerdy, but mostly just smart. I got Tom Court at loosehead.
Okay, nice.
Very clever. Reads about 3 or 4 books a week.
I thought you were going to say reads books.
Reads
and then just,
reads comics.
And just ended it there. He reads books.
He reads sometimes. He reads good. Mike Ross at tight head.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
Um,
actually had him at tight head as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone for Ian Henderson in the second row. And he is smart, but he's definitely a smart arse. he just outsmarts people a lot, and he revels in it. He just enjoys getting the better of people. And similar role for me, Dev Toner.
Okay.
There's 2 smart arses. I'd probably bring the worst out of each other, actually, but both clever, both good lads. Oh, that's my front 5. Have you anybody in the back row?
I've got like a few. I've gone a different direction with a few of them. So I've gone with like one that I picked in terms of nerds. You know, Kevin Smith, the director of like Clerks and Dogma, and he's like solid guy. But like when you said nerds, I kind of went that way, like really talented filmmaker and all that stuff. But I was like, yeah, he could do a job in the loose. I struggled with second row a little bit. It's kind of like maybe put like Einstein at 7.
Yeah.
Just do your thing or whatever. But then I was actually changing from Malloy, so Claire Malloy.
Okay.
So she's a doctor, pretty smart. Well, hopefully. And
You like to think so?
yeah, fingers crossed.
Jamie
Roberts.
Jamie Roberts at
Had
12,
him as well.
Just because he's a doctor.
Yeah.
They might
yeah.
not be that smart. My wife's a doctor, so I have to kind of assume doctors are smart.
Yeah, fair enough. I hope
she is.
Is she a fan of the show?
Funny, we fell out today because I made some reference to something that happened in the last few weeks. Oh, I said, I'm not doing balderdash. Jenny's doing balderdash. And she goes, what's that? I went, you haven't listened to at least 4 episodes.
That hurts.
Yeah, but she said, though, to be fair, she doubled down. She said, I don't like rugby and I don't like movies.
Okay,
so why would I? That's more or less the content.
And we've done like the Rocky theme tune.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I don't like Rocky theme tunes.
Okay. Hopefully that, like her being smart, does not correlate with not liking the.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise,
We're
it
screwed.
bodes badly for
Yeah.
probably all 3 of us.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Moving swiftly along. Who've you got in the backs?
I'm pretty pleased with my 9-10 combination.
Okay.
I've got Pee Wee Herman and Mr. Bean.
That's actually
That works well.
that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, Jimmy Roberts at 12. The guy who's in the IT crowd, Richard Ayo, is that how do you
Yeah,
how do you
Richard
pronounce
Ayo.
it? Whatever, however you say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Anyway, he seems pretty nerdy and smart.
Okay.
And then I'm pleased with my fullback selection as well, Professor Brian Cox.
I had him as well. I just had him in at 8. I was like, he's probably quick off the
He'd
base.
get eaten alive, would he not, that wee fella?
I don't know. Maybe because he's behind like a lot of Galaxy pictures, it makes him look bigger.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Maybe he should be out in the backs. Okay, sorry, Brian.
Yeah,
He's
sorry,
probably
Brian.
watching as well.
Sorry, Professor Brian Cox. Yeah.
I had like Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Do you know, like she's like an 85-year-old. She's on the Supreme Court in America. She goes to the gym every day, like for bicep curls, and I'd say nothing would get by her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think that'd be.
There's very few of the rest of these have got a balance, apart from Handy and Dev, where they're both smart, but they're both obviously fairly well established in rugby.
Paula Fitzpatrick. She's an absolute nerd.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She might not be listening to this, so I can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
it's a luxury we have, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. Just slate everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd have her. Oh, and then Ruth O'Reilly. She could definitely go front row. She's like, loves a good Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd say she'd probably get, if she was to get a tattoo, it'd be like an Excel spreadsheet and she could just fill it in herself.
yeah.
So,
She do
hey
the
Ruth, you're an
formulas.
absolute nerd.
Okay, right. I think that'll do it. Oh, bourbons or custard creams.
Neither. They both suck.
Yeah, and they both were very popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
So not anymore. Unlucky Matt McCann. Anyway, listen, thank you very much for your comments and your questions, and thank you for listening and watching us on YouTube. YouTube.
That was the Facebook. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. I'm at the Facebook.
If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe and leave a rating. We really do appreciate your feedback. This is Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby on Joe, together with Guinness. Thank you for keeping us company.
Casual, nice, friendly ending.
Party on.
Party on.